back to where pass equals 1 and wipe out the 1, put pass equals 2. Other than that, you don't have to change anything. Just hit enter, and boom. It gathers the statistics from the first pass in the cops.log file or the log.log file, and it starts writing your cops.avi file. And then when you're done, you've got a very high quality DivX movie that is small in file size or smallish, and you can adjust the bit rate for the video bit rate. Remember, I put it at 2200 kilobits per second. That's very high. You can adjust the bit rate to be lower, and if what you're encoding is an anime, there's an extra option you can use in your DivX command chain, in your DivX options chain. You could put cartoon, the word cartoon, in the filter chain or the options chain for your video encoder. That's only for DivX. That's not for X264. DivX has a cartoon mode that's made for like anime and shit. They can reduce the file size a lot more and keep quality. Do not confuse cartoon with animated movies. Shit like Shrek and Finding Nemo is not cartoons. That is 3-dimensional animation. Cartoons is 2-dimensional animation, solid color regions. Well, if it's 3-dimensional, there is no solid color regions. You'll fuck it up. Well, you won't fuck it up, but the quality, you'll fuck it up. You'll fuck it up. All right. So anyway. Alright, that covers DivX. Now here's a trick though. I want to show you this real quick. Because you're writing a log file in the first pass, let's hit up. This is the second pass right here, right? Copy this whole thing. We have another terminal open. Now hit up again. Now you just copied your second pass. Hit up to where this terminal is on the command that you entered to run your first pass. Hit enter. Let it run. Go to this terminal. Paste the command for your second pass. Hit enter. Why? Because it can write to this statistics file faster than this pass. Your second pass can read from the statistics file and write to the hard drive as a movie. So this first pass is running at the exact same time the second pass is moving. This is something you cannot do with X264 codec, and I'll show you why in a second. But look at this. While this first pass is running through the video file, gathering statistics and dumping them into a file, the second pass is reading them from that file and writing it to an output AVI movie. You can encode movies very fucking quickly this way. Very quickly. Look, this movie says it's only got 51 minutes remaining before it transcode. With X264, you're spending 6 hours on a 2-pass encode. This one, 1 hour. That's using this way. The reason, let's go ahead and cancel this because we don't need it. The reason why you cannot do this with X264 is because right here it's outputting cops.log, okay? Well, with X264, during the first pass, whatever name you give that log file, it adds .temp to the end of it. So if you put log.log, well, as it's writing to the log file, it's called log.log.temp. So that means that, and then when it's done reading from the movie file or writing into the log file, it'll rename it to the original name you gave it, log.log. It'll remove the .temp off the end. So you cannot run another process side by side on your other CPU at the same time, because even if you put log file equals log.log.temp, well, that first pass is going to finish before the second pass, and it's going to get renamed, so the second pass is going to lose its log file halfway through the transcode. You can't do a simultaneous 2-pass transcode with X264. You can do a sequential transcode, which means run the first pass, then run the second pass. That's typical, and you can do that, but you cannot do a asymmetric transcode or a non-sequential transcode or a simultaneous transcode. You just can't do it with X264, but you can with DivX. DivX is much, much faster to transcode than X264, but the quality is not as good. Alright, that covered DivX. That covered pretty much everything. If you want to know more about DivX options and what they do and what they mean, read M Player's Manual. I'm not covering all that shit. I'm just not. it takes too much time. Read MPlayer's manual that I alluded to in one of the first videos, and I'll try to include a link in this series as I type out the articles. It may be a long time before I type them out, though. But anyway, read MPlayer's options. The options I choose are pretty much the best quality for a file size trade-off that you can get. So if you want to just stick with the ones I use, that's best. That's why I use them. And I did a lot of research into this shit before I started using these. And I've refined them as I went along. And so they're pretty damn good. But if you want to know more about them, read MPlayer's manual. I'm not going to go over them. There's just too damn many of them. Or also, check this out. You can type man MPlayer, and you can read the actual documentation for each and every goddamn command, each and every codec option, everything. Which, like I said, I will not even begin to cover. Check it out. Now we're going to cover X264. This is the fun part. Alright, so hit up until we get back to our first pass. Erase everything all the way back to the end of the audio filter chain. Erase all the video codec shit and all the audio codec shit. Leave the video filter and audio filters there. Now, we should have a sentence that ends with -OAC for output audio codec. We're going to use the AAC codec, which is encoded with the FAAC encoder. So for output audio codec, it should say FAAC, which is the Free Advanced Audio Codec, or FAAD, Free Advanced Audio Decoder. I believe it's FAD. Actually, let me look. Like I said, I started writing scripts to do this shit for me, so it's been a very long time since I've actually had to type this shit out. And here in a minute, after I show you real quick how to do X264 by hand, I'm going to turn around and show you how to put all of this together in scripts that you can pretty much drag and fucking drop and run with it. The only thing you'll ever have to set up again is your video filter and audio filter. After that, you just hit enter. But anyway, alright. Yeah, it's FAAC. That's your audio codec. And then dash FAAC ops, OPTS for FAAC options. And then space BR equals 128. There is no CBR. There is no constant bitrate with AAC. AAC is a variable bitrate codec. Alright, that takes care of our audio codec and our audio codec options. Now hit dash OVC for our output video codec. And then we're going to use X264. Hit space, and then dash X264 ENC for encoder, and then OPTS for ops. So it should say X264 Inc. Ops, ENC OPTS, encoder, X264 encoder ops, space. Here we go. Partitions, PARTITIONS, partitions equals all, ALL, colon, 8x8 DCT. That is 8, the letter X, the number 8, then DCT, colon, weight, WEIGHT, underscore B, colon, bit rate equals 2200, that's 2200, colon, sub Q equals 6, colon, ME equals UMH, colon, frame ref, FRAME equals 3, colon, B frames equals 1, colon, trellis, TRELLIS equals 2, colon, turbo equals 1, colon, pass equals 1. Now turbo is an encoding method, an encoder option that tells it to skip anything that is absolutely not necessary for a first pass. So all of the very CPU intensive encoder options that we just gave it, it's going to ignore some of the ones that it does not need on the first pass. That way the first pass goes faster. Turbo equals 1 is not Boolean. It's actually a multi-integral option